Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent based on novel. So let's start. Yuan Ping usually smiles, with the best temper, but at this moment he looked at the few ancestors in front of him with an icy expression. Over the long years, your innate primordial life camp has lost 20 ancestors in our hands. You have also clashed with other camps, losing 15 ancestors. Altogether, you have only produced 32 ancestors, so the overall number has still decreased. The Infinite Great Serpent and several others, their expressions slightly changed. Indeed, as the largest group in the infinite primordial space, their ancestors' numbers have somewhat decreased since fighting the cultivator camp repeatedly. This is also why some ancestors within them didn't want to engage in combat with the cultivator camp. After all, the lords are undying and undying, fighting over and over again. What's the good outcome in that? U8, isn't it proof that individual strength is more important? That ball of endless light had a very strong oppressive force. Innate primordial life born with infinite longevity should pursue the ultimate in strength with infinite lifespan. Silent Extinction Ancestor also said, to pursue ultimate strength, one must have the determination to do whatever it takes. Even if we fail and completely return to silence, we would gladly accept it. Infinite Snake Ancestor and Inference Fire Ancestor looked at the 8 lords. The two of them had reached the realm of undying and undying, even more calmly. The source world origin is the best resource for the innate primordial life camp. Even if I no longer need it, the entire camp does. Infinite Snake Ancestor said, my other followers in the infinite race need it too. The 3,600 world groups you occupy are the prosperous 3,600 world groups, with abundant source world numbers. Inference Fire Ancestor said, if you're willing to back off, retreat to 1,200 world groups. Our innate primordial life camp can take a step back and stop fighting. The 8 lords looked at them coldly, not bothering to refute. Then just wait. Infinite Snake Ancestor and others also returned to the initial ancestor body. Initial ancestor, upon its own path, reached the utmost. It could calmly watch over the winds and storms in the entire infinite primordial space. No matter how strong the force is, it could not threaten it in the slightest. But as a member of the innate primordial life camp, it also willingly assists its kin. They are seeking support. Starlight said, as many avatars walking the future lines have already glimpsed many possibilities, though there are also those within the innate primordial life camp opposed to going to war with us. But to save many ancestors and ensure their camp's advantage, there should be substantial forces arriving to support. Luo Feng and the 7 of them firmly believed in what Starlight said. These ancestors hiding within initial ancestor do so because they cannot retreat. Before Starlight Lord, who has the utmost accomplishments in time and space, they cannot escape. Their retreating process would instead show many flaws. Under the combined all-out attack of the 8 lords, would likely result in the death of several ancestors. Hiding inside the initial ancestor, waiting for support was the best choice. How many ancestors will support them? Yuan asked. Starlight said, at least 30 ancestors will come to support. Luo Feng, Jin, Ming Huang, Mo Man, Nai Jiyu, Wu Lan, the 6 of them listened and their expressions slightly changed. With so many ancestors coming, it would mean more than 100 ancestors working together. The deterrence power would be too terrifying. When it involves the tribe's destiny, the 9 emperors will also gather. Starlight emphasized, we have to prepare well. Prioritize defense, rather give up some opportunities, also must ensure the stability of the battle array. Afterward, seek chances to counterattack. Yuan said, with Luo Feng present, we do not fear prolonged combat. Immediately, Yuan, Jin, Wu Lan, Ming Huang, Nai Jiyu, Starlight, Mo Man, Luofeng the Eight Lords naturally formed a battle array, covering the region where the initial lord was, guarding it. Those weaker ancestors, daring to show their true body, would face the encirclement and attack by the 8 of them. Land of Eternity. This is a place where all existences that have reached the level of undying and undying, throughout the infinite primordial space have the qualifications to come and have a place here. It is a piece of land naturally nurtured by the infinite primordial space. A grain of dust from this land can suppress a high-level primordial life. The intangible pressure of the land of eternity can turn a world-level primordial life into powder. Like the ancestors of the innate primordial life camp, over 90% have no qualification to come here. This vast flat continent only has an ancient round table. The round table has endless secret patterns mysteries, and at the moment has 28 seats around it, with 3 figures currently sitting there. Infinite primordial space, the distances between each other are too far, they are accustomed to meeting here. The 8th Cultivator Lord. A group of grey mist sitting on one of the seats, and I appeared on the surface of the mist, watching the distant battle with interest. The Cultivator camp is too special, they are weak creatures within the source world gradually cultivating, ultimately mastering the essence of supreme power. Reaching a state parallel to ours. Indeed very special, each of their strength is quite strong. I quite like Starlight and am friends with Ming Huang. A figure wearing white battle armor coldly watched from afar, but that one called Jin is too despicable and shameless. Last time at the abyss of destruction, unable to confront me directly, actually attacked me while I was in the midst of slaughter. I despise these contemptible souls the most. This figure in white battle armor, filled intensely with the aura of destruction. Golden Lord, Lord Mo Man, Lord Nai Gu, just these 3 are the most contemptible in the cultivator camp. A feathered creature sitting there had a peaceful expression, with warm white feathers all over. His presence was discreetly ordinary, but he is also one of the presences at the pinnacle of the infinite primordial space. Lord Nai Gu doesn't threaten me one-on-one, but he teamed up with Golden Lord and Lord Mo Man. The 3 lords ambushed me as one. Ha ha, heard your feathers were all plucked clean. The white battle armor laughed. Calf Xiao. The feathered creature burst into anger. My fault, my fault. The white battle armor said, waving a hand in front of him, revealing the image of the feathered creature gravely injured, feathers falling off, leaving just some short feathers, blood covering the body. Oh, I did remember incorrectly. You still had lots of feathers left. The feathered creature glared at him. The figure in white battle armor smiled again, as he put away the images. At his level, collecting jokes of those on the same level was quite a hobby. He had no tribe, no companions, existing in isolation, yet having reached such power. He had to find some fun for himself. The feathered creature also endured it. He had descendants, unlike Ka Fushio, who existed alone, feared no one, and dared to insert himself wherever there was a commotion. Ka Fushio, Feather Emperor. That mass of grey mist gazed at the distant battlefield. 8 lords joining forces can suppress 73 ancestors, kill 3, and drive the remaining 70 ancestors to retreat. These cultivator lords are indeed formidable. With them working together, even in the infinite primordial space, they are an extremely strong force. Feather Emperor nodded, somewhat envious. Because the group he commanded had only him who could rank in the land of eternity. Is the cultivator camp gaining the upper hand? We also conquered 3 world groups of the cultivator camp. When the war ends, will the 8 lords target us? Some ancient beings watched the battlefield from afar, feeling a bit uneasy. During the confrontation between the 2 camps, some other camps also took the opportunity to occupy several world groups. Some occupied 2 or 3 world groups, others even seized over 100 world groups. Originally thought the cultivator camp would surely fail. The innate primordial life camp occupied the most world groups, we could have shared a bit. Who would have thought the situation to reverse? Once the cultivator camp wins, those 8 lords likely wouldn't rest. Taking advantage of the situation, there are 12 forces invading world groups. Does the cultivator camp dare go full-on war with them? Among these 12 forces, some are strong, some weak. The strongest force is the Ice Peak camp. The Ice Peak camp is an alliance formed by 12 beings of the land of eternity. Although their number is far less than the innate primordial life camp, in terms of deterrence, the Ice Peak camp is more terrifying, because most of them have no tribe concerns. They act naturally more domineering and lawless. They actually don't care much about the source world origin. What they need are the extremely special and precious resources nurtured within the vast territory. In the eyes of the Ice Peak camp, occupying over 100 world groups is already very giving face to the cultivator camp. After all, if they exerted themselves, they could seize several times the territory. We've only occupied over 100 world groups. What can the cultivator camp do? Do they dare go to war with us? The Ice Peak camp didn't care at all. Cultivator territory, Dark World Group, Land of Origin Source World. Luo Feng stood on a terrace of the Huyang City Lord's mansion. At this moment, his body had completely transformed. Although his energy reserve was only 1% of the total, this reserve was already comparable to the main battle avatar of the smallest lord among them, Lord Moman. The cultivator camp faces too many crises. Only after breaking through did Luo Feng understand many secrets. On Earth, wherever people are, there is conflict. In infinite primordial space, there are also various conflicts. The innate primordial life camp is considered the most hostile force. Yet with other camp forces, there are also many big and small conflicts. Brother Yuan can come all the way from the most humble beginnings. It's not easy. Luo Feng knew the situation of the cultivator camp was much better than it was early on, thanks to the appearance of several lords including Starlight Lord. The crises of the cultivator camp will be resolved one by one in the future. Luo Feng had the patience. As a lord, with an infinitely long lifespan, he has the time to keep fighting. Each lord was filled with confidence in the future. Lord Cheng, the most wonderful thing. Luo Feng, as a creature of his homeland source world, even after becoming a lord, the source world origin didn't resist him, allowing Luo Feng's power to easily penetrate and effortlessly refine and control the entire origin. After complete control, the homeland source world seemed to become his other physical body. At this moment, the entire land of origin source world had no secrets in front of him anymore. Everything was completely under his control, including the recorded time river of the land of origin. In the time river, countless creatures rise and fall, whether alive or dead. These creatures continued to luminously exist on their former timelines. Only those who had died, their timelines were just a segment, already stopped. Luo Feng could lift these creatures from the time river, allowing their timelines to continue, even to persist eternally. Within the scope of the source world, within the braided cage, Luo Feng could indeed allow them eternal life. Giant Axe Senior, Luo Feng saw those familiar, whether strong or weak figures. He even saw the blissful life of his teacher, Mountain Sitting Guest, when he was still God King Jin. Every regret could be remedied. This is what is most wonderful about becoming a lord. Luo Feng smiled. The first holy land of the innate primordial life camp is the infinite world, home to the infinite great serpent clan, with more than 10 ancestors at the ancestor level. The second holy land is the giant god realm, which is also a special world no less than the infinite world. The life born here is a world-level primordial life from birth. Their size is among the largest in the innate primordial life camp. The group proliferated in the giant god realm is also known as the giant god race, which is the second largest group, second only to the infinite great serpent clan, with 10 reaching the ancestor level. Buzz. The infinite snake ancestor, silent extinction ancestor, inference fire ancestor, infinite ancestor, with a single thought, their incarnations descended upon the giant god realm. The giant god realm is inhabited by thousands of gigantic creatures, at least 20 to 30% the size of the source world. Some enormous beings comparable to Lord Wulan looked distantly at the four incarnations. The infinite snake ancestor and the others have arrived. I heard they clashed with the cultivator camp and fell behind. Now they come to seek our help. Each gigantic creature communicated telepathically, gloating. The giant god race and the infinite race have significant conflicts. However, currently, the infinite snake ancestor holds the highest prestige in the innate primordial life camp. After all, besides its formidable strength, the infinite snake ancestor is also undying and undying. Giant god brother. The four incarnations arrived at a spot, looking at a massive creature before them. It is a bipedal giant beast, covered in black and golden scales with a pair of massive wings besides its arms. Just sitting there, it dwarfs a source world. In terms of size, across the entire infinite primordial world, it ranks among the top 3. It is several times larger than Wulan. It is one of the 9 emperors of the innate primordial life camp, the giant god emperor. Also the leader of the giant god race. This time, the 3 emperors who did not participate in the battle are led by the giant god emperor. In terms of sheer frontal power, it is considered the most formidable among the 9 emperors. However, its ability to protect itself is weaker, and several beings can threaten its existence. The cultivator Lord Yuan is particularly restraining it. Naturally, its status in the innate primordial life camp is far weaker than the infinite snake ancestor. I heard you were defeated. The giant god emperor looked with great interest at the 4. A new lord has appeared, joining forces with 8 lords, making it very tricky. The infinite snake ancestor said, "We indeed cannot win, so we need your help from you 3. The giant god emperor nodded slightly, and then 2 terrifying forces appeared beside them. A massive black mist avian descended nearby, its countless black mist like countless calamities coalesced, naturally bringing down endless calamity power when engaging with enemies. Another was a fat giant beast with sleek fur, its colorful fur constantly changing, with each strand containing endless void, smiling as it looked at the 4 in front of them. Black Tide Ancestor, Primordial Beast Ancestor. All 4 incarnations greeted. Black Tide Ancestor and Primordial Beast Ancestor are also among the 9 emperors. The most crucial point is, they do not belong to any group, being unique existences. In the infinite primordial void, such unique existences mostly do not consider themselves part of the innate primordial life camp. These 2 have excellent relations with the giant god emperor and tacitly acknowledge themselves as part of the innate primordial life camp. They rarely take action, at least. You all should understand, this battle cannot be lost. The infinite snake ancestor said, considering the full strength of our group, if we lose to the cultivator camp, our innate primordial life camp's intimidating power will be greatly reduced in the future. I don't like war. The giant god emperor sighed softly. It prefers calmly watching the myriad things in the infinite primordial space, observing various grudges and conflicts, enjoying being a bystander. I have never withheld the resources that should be supplied to the giant god race. The infinite snake ancestor said, at this juncture, you still refuse to fight, allowing the cultivator camp to trample over us. Silent extinction ancestor, infinite ancestor, inference fire ancestor all looked at the giant god emperor. The innate primordial life camp is divided into 2 factions, one with the infinite snake ancestor at its core, and the other with the giant god emperor at its core. I understand, this battle cannot be lost. The giant god emperor nodded, but we are only willing to participate in this battle. After this battle, we will withdraw. Beside them, the Black Tide ancestor and primordial beast ancestor also nodded, clearly agreeing with the giant god emperor's statement. Rest assured. The infinite snake ancestor nodded. The cultivator camp has gained a new lord, and this new lord can instantly restore their companions to the pinnacle. They have become even trickier. After winning this battle, I will also take the opportunity to end the war. Losing the battle ends the war. Winning the battle ends the war. The difference between the two is significant. The infinite snake ancestor needs to carry the momentum of defeating the 8 lords to prove to the entire infinite primordial space that they are still the strongest. How much do you know about the new lord? The primordial beast ancestor inquired from the side. Since we are going to war, we need to understand everything about the opponent. Buzz. A multiclawed exotic beast crawled out of space-time, its claws easily grasping individual time lines. After crawling out, it spoke. I have investigated many past time lines and have clarified the background of the new Lord Luo Feng. Luo Feng, born in the Dark World group, Origin Continent Origin World. There are obstacles within the Source World, and little is known. It's only known that his cultivation time is very short, the multiclawed exotic beast said. He cultivated for less than 10,000 epochs, reaching what the cultivator camp calls the extreme under the braided cage, and then cultivated for less than 2,000 epochs, directly becoming a lord from under the braided cage. From under the braided cage, directly becoming a lord. The 4 incarnations, as well as the giant god emperor, Black Tide ancestor, and primordial beast ancestor, were all shocked. Yes. I haven't found any information about him becoming a world-level primordial. Even his homeland Source World was only refined after he participated in the battle, the multiclawed exotic beast said. Regardless of whether he became world-level primordial, he became a lord from under the braided cage in less than 2,000 epochs. The giant god emperor couldn't help but say, based on my understanding of the cultivator system, his talent and potential exceed those of the previous 7 lords. Truly tricky. The infinite snake ancestor also felt troubled. Watching the rise of the cultivator camp helplessly, they have no means. Infinite snake ancestor indeed does not need to consume the source world origin anymore. However, for its clan, the entire infinite great serpent clan, the best food is the source world origin. For the sake of the clan, it is not willing to give up. They are getting stronger, and our innate primordial life camp is also growing stronger, the silent extinction ancestor said calmly. Which of the 2 great camps will win or lose is still uncertain. The 2 great camps. One side has countless source worlds, a continuous source of younger powers, and perhaps a new lord might be born. The other side has a vast infinite primordial space, countless innate primordial lives, and the speed of a new ancestor being born is much faster than a lord. Both of these great camps understand that the other is their greatest opponent. They fight the hardest against each other. Like the current Ice Peak camp, it is an alliance of 12 entities from the land of eternity, seeming very powerful. However, firstly, they have no subsequent power. Secondly, being an alliance, they are not united enough. The 2 great camps currently fighting the hardest are much more united. This Lord Luo Feng is a newly broken through lord, the giant god emperor pondered before saying, taking advantage of his current inexperience, we must destroy the cultivator camp in one fell swoop. In the future, when he becomes more comprehensively powerful, he will be much more troublesome. When do you plan to set out? Infinite Snake Ancestor asked. The sooner, the better, the giant god emperor said calmly. Once the ancestors decide to gather, the speed is very fast. The giant god emperor, primordial beast ancestor, and black tide ancestor take the lead, along with more than 20 other ancestors willing to follow them, plus some resting ancestors at the rear, totaling 35 ancestors gathering together. I will lead everyone on the journey. A multicolored exotic beast led these 35 ancestors, swiftly crossing multiple timelines, heading towards the cultivator territory. I have long said, there is no need to corner the cultivator side too much. If you push them too hard, they might become a significant threat, perhaps forcing a strong figure to emerge. They should be allowed to be more at ease. Yes, even if we completely break through all the cultivator territories, so what? Once those 7 lords have no territorial concerns, they will go completely mad. With the huge hatred between them, the 7 lords will continuously seek revenge. Infinite Snake Ancestor is too confident. It is for the whole infinite race. The fastest way for the infinite race to grow is by consuming the source world origin. Our giant god race can slowly absorb the primordial force. We don't need to consume the source world origin at all. The ancestors were discussing among themselves. The giant god emperor and the others were quite candid too. Acting alone, the giant god emperor indeed has significant weaknesses. However, once teamed up with companions Primordial Beast Ancestor and Black Tide Ancestor, their methods complement each other. There are no weaknesses. Comparable to 3 entities from the land of eternity joining forces. That's why the 3 of them have the qualification to become the second largest faction of the innate primordial life camp. 35 ancestors have set off, led by the giant god emperor. Truly worthy of the innate primordial life camp, mobilizing such a terrifying force. Reaching the ancestor level, each life form's fluctuation is very strong. Unless someone like Luo Feng, who is adept at life, can restrain all fluctuations. Otherwise, once an ancestor level existence acts, the same level of existence can clearly sense it. A collective action of 35, the terrifying fluctuations can be remotely sensed by forces from all sides in the infinite primordial space. Only the cultivator camp, an ice peak camp, could possibly withstand this collective action of 35, various parties side. Although there are many forces in the infinite primordial space, none have the confidence to withstand 35 ancestors joining forces. The 8 lords of the cultivator camp are indeed terrifying. Capable of suppressing 73 ancestors. Forcing the innate primordial life camp's ancestors to almost all come out. With over 100 ancestors joining forces, although each of the 8 lords of the cultivator camp is very strong, they probably still can't withstand it. Various forces are watching this terrifying confrontation. Cultivator territory. The enormous sphere initial ancestor hovered there, with numerous ancestors temporarily hiding inside it, restoring strength and patiently waiting for their companions' support. The 8 lords formed a battle array, completely covering this area. 35 ancestors have set off. Yuan looked distantly. Luo Feng and others all looked into the distance. Their gaze could sense and see those 35 ancestors from afar. The giant god emperor and the others have also made a move, Yuan said with a serious expression. The 3 of them joining forces is no less than 3 strong entities from the land of eternity. Starlight Lord frowned, with over 100 ancestors joining forces, especially with the 9 emperors acting together, their overall strength will surpass ours. I will inform everyone of the possible combat scenarios in many future timelines. Luo Feng, Lord Wulan, Jin, Mo Man, Nai Jiyu, Ming Huang all felt the pressure. The cooperation on the cultivator side is much stronger, with Starlight observing numerous future timelines, and his space-time domain integrates into the entire battle array, plus Yuan's formation, which perfectly coordinates the power of each lord. In comparison, the cooperation on the ancestor side is much cruder, but the sheer number is overwhelming, with over 100 ancestors, especially the 9 emperors as the core. Their overall strength is still extraordinarily strong. Winning this battle will make things much easier in the future, Starlight said softly. We must win. Jin gazed into the distance. Luo Feng knew well that, according to the various cooperation plans studied by the Lords, he is the key factor in winning this battle. After all, he is the newly broken through one and the external world knows the least about him. This video will end here.